What is going on, you guys, and welcome back to the One Day Stronger podcast. I am Colin, and I am so grateful you're here today. Take some time out of your day to take a listen. Hopefully you get some inspiration, advice, or insight, whatever you want to take away from this. For those of you who don't know who we are, this is a podcast where you have real talk about healing, sobriety, personal growth, and showing up for yourself in life one day at a time. If you're a returning listener, I want to thank you for coming on this journey with me and for staying strong one day at a time. So today I want to talk about something that, might be running in the background of your life without even you noticing it or realizing that it's actually there. That's the negative thoughts, the self-hate, and all the kind of stories and the fucking bullshit we tell ourselves over and over again that stop us from and block us from our goals and our personal growth and who we really want to be and what we really want to achieve. It's those bullshit little lies we tell ourselves, and the procrastination and the no, you can't do this, or you can't do this because, or you are like this because. So we're going to say it up front and just get out of the way. You can't change your life if you don't change your mind. And this was one of the biggest fucking things for me to realize and to actually implement. Is very hard, but once you start it, it's like a muscle. You gotta keep using it and working on it for it to grow. Some days I still have trouble with this, but as you get better at it and realizing it, that it's happening in the moment, you get better at changing it. So, if your mind is stuck in the loop of like, I'm a screw up, I always quit, I'm not good enough, then that becomes your truth. Even if it's a lie, which we know it is, but it becomes your truth because that's what you put out in the world, so that's what the world's going to give you back. Most of us carry the voice in our head that's fucking not even ours. It's a mix of the past pains, past mistakes, and other people's opinions and the old fucking wounds and all this concoction of fucking bullshit that kind of festers up, and without even realizing it, we're starting like a narrative and narrating our lives through a lens of bullshit because of all the other shit that has happened. And that voice, it's the loudest when you're trying to fucking grow, when you're trying to achieve, and when you're trying to stay positive. When you get fucking sober and you start healing, you're trying to become a better parent, partner, or fucking person. That's why one of the most powerful parts of like real change, like, isn't breaking those habits or routines that keep us in those, but it's rewriting the narrative in your own head. Because once you start rewriting that, you have the power to start fucking changing everything in your life, guys. I know it seems kind of woo-woo type of stuff if you're not into that, but trust me, like, if you were to give it a try for 30 days and just start trying to realize and be in your whole and being mindful, like we talk about, this is one of the parts of starting to be mindful and creating that new you, is you have to start thinking like the new you, and you have to start implementing the behavioral change in your head as the new you, which starts with your self-talk and your negative thoughts and working through them and healing them and fixing them. Because here's the truth, guys. You're not your fucking worst mistakes. You're not fucking who you used to be anymore. This is what this podcast is about, is becoming a better you one day at a time. You're not fucking stuck unless you believe you are. If you believe you can't do something, then you won't be able to achieve it. If you believe you can do something, it may take you fucking a couple tries, but if you keep believing in fucking that you can do it and not fucking give up, eventually you're gonna fucking achieve it. You only need that one fucking time to work. It's not gonna matter about the 99 other fucking times you failed. So how do we start changing that fucking voice in our head? There's like 3 basic simple steps once we boil it all down. You fucking catch it, you question it, and you replace it. So a bit of a homework for you guys. We could do just 2 simple, easy steps that you guys can implement fucking today, within the next 10 minutes, within the next 5 minutes. Number one, you gotta name the lie and replace it with the truth. So you gotta actually be mindful of something that's happening, or what your mind's telling you. You can't do this, or this is happening because you're like this, and you gotta replace it with the truth. So anytime you catch a negative thought, don't just run with it. Call it out. You know, I will, like, when you hear yourself talking like this, a couple of examples. You know, I'll never get this right. You know, change it. Be like, no, that's not real. I'm learning, and I don't quit. You know, if you keep yourself something like, I always mess things up. You know, stop that, because that's not who you are. You know, I've made mistakes, but now I'm showing up a new way. Or I've made mistakes, but now I'm showing up now. You know what I mean? Like, the difference in between those guys, it's very different. And when you tell yourself that, it becomes a different feeling. You know, or you could catch yourself saying, like, I'm not good enough. You know, and that's one of the biggest things that we all go through, is one of those statements. But we can change it to, I'm healing and growing every day, which is what this podcast is all about, you know? So write it out, fucking say it out loud, keep repeating it until it sticks. Number two is create a morning sentence. You know, first thing in the morning, before the world starts fucking yelling at you and you gotta deal with all the bullshit and everything, say one sentence to yourself that sets the tone. You know, a lot of people will tell you, like, oh, you need a morning routine, you need this and affirmations, all this. You know, just start simple with one sentence, and start with that, and then keep on building on that. If you don't have a morning routine or anything yet, try this. Just wake up and you say this. Do this for a week, for 7 days, you know. So some of the sentences, like, you know, they can be something like this, you know. I am not who I was. I am who I'm becoming. Another one could be, today I show up for myself. Another one could be, I'm not perfect, but I'm present. And that's powerful. Just simple stuff like that, guys, will get your head start thinking in a different way, and start changing some negative thoughts into more positive ones. And if you build on this, it starts building momentum, and it starts compounding into better and bigger things. So you can start with those, and then start adding stuff along the way, and then keep building on that, and building. So you can write it on a sticky note and put it, like, on the fucking mirror, make it on your lock screen, and make your brain hear something new every day to start trying to rewire and change your beliefs. You know, you don't have to believe every thought you think. You know, you are not your thoughts, you are your actions. And because you don't have to keep fucking living in a story that doesn't serve you, you know, so you got to start letting go of the self-hate, let go of the lies, and choose a better voice, one that's going to be a companion rather than one that's going to try and destroy you, like the self-sabotage and all the bullshit. You know, you want one that's going to help you grow and doesn't hold you back, because the real change starts with changing your mind. Once you change that, everything else kind of comes easier, because everything gets filtered through your mind and your brain and your thoughts. So, like, you're not broken, you're becoming, and with that, you're one day stronger. So, as always, guys, overcome and evolve one day at a time. You know, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this. If you got any value out of it, please like, comment, subscribe, whatever you got to do on whatever platform you are. Let's get this to other people that need to hear it. You know, share it with someone whose inner voice has been too cruel for too long. Let's fucking change our stories and our lives together, guys. Until next time, have a good one.